Now, we have talked about what I believe the ceiling is for this Texas team, and I do believe this team can win a national championship. So I decided to go back and look at the last 10 national championships won, and that's the college football playoff era. That's why I did it. Looked at their points per game on offense, points per game on defense. I'm keeping it simple. How does Texas stack up with those teams? And guys, I'm just going to warn you right now, it doesn't stack up great on one side of the ball. I think you can actually guess. And if I would have told someone at the beginning of the season that we don't stack up well, I'll give you the sneak preview. On the offensive side of the ball, people probably would have laughed because I think the concern was defense. The concern really, after looking at these numbers, is not the defense. So I'm just going based off of 8 games, and I'm only taking your conference games. Guys, I don't give a shit what teams did versus a UTSA, a Marshall, any of that. I do not care. I'm only taking conference games, and I'm going to brag on one of these teams when we get to them because, my God, the offensive stats they put up, and I'll tell you why, are insane. Now, let's jump into it. 2014 Ohio State averaged 48.5 points per game on offense. 2015 Alabama, 32.4 points per game on offense. 2016 Clemson, 37 points per game on offense. 2017 Alabama, 47.6 points per game on offense. 2018 Clemson, 47.8 points per game on offense. If you notice a trend here, it's high 30s, mostly 40s, even mid 40s. 2019 LSU, honestly, not as good as I thought. 41.8 points per game. This is the team I'm going to brag about. 2020 Alabama, 43.25 points per game. You're like, well, that isn't even the highest number you said. That is all SEC games. That is 8 games worth of SEC. A lot of this is 4 or 5 games because of the sample size. This was the COVID year where every game was an SEC game. In 8 games of SEC play, they averaged 43.25 points per game. That is insane. 2021 Georgia, 39.5 points per game. 2022 Georgia, 42.6 points per game. 2023 Michigan through 8 games, 44.4 points per game. Really 4 or 5 games because, again, I did not count your out of conference. Now let's go to Texas in 2024. So far, I haven't gotten any comments. Any guesses to what Texas has put up in 2024 on offense? The lowest mark we have on offense, guys, is 2015 Alabama at 32.4 points per game. Texas is at 27.75 points per game. Not good enough. Not good enough. And we know the reason for this. It's the offensive line not getting a push, not protecting Quinn enough, not being able to run the ball because of it. Quinn Ewers not stepping up in the pocket when he is in a tight pocket and the pocket presents itself, and also not stepping into throws. Those are the biggest issues for this offense, and execution-wise, pre-snap and post-snap for the offensive line, and holding and false starts and penalties of that nature. It has to get better. This offense isn't national championship caliber. It's not even close, honestly. It needs to get about a touchdown better, and we're headed into, honestly, the hardest 4-game stretch of the season. We're going to play Florida. We're going to play Kentucky. We're going to play Arkansas. We're going to play A&M. Those are 4 teams, in my opinion. I think there's a real possibility they're all bowl teams. And they're all bowl teams with a hard schedule in the SEC. And we're averaging 27.75 points per game. We're going to need to get to about 34 to 35 in SEC play to be able to, in my opinion, to win a national championship. I got Texas 9-3 versus Iowa. We would smack the absolute daylights out of Iowa. That'd be interesting. Could happen. We would destroy Iowa. Okay, now, again, how does the Texas defense stack up to past national championship teams? 2014 Ohio State, 19.75 points per game. 2015 Alabama. And honestly, guys, I didn't really look into this team, but anyone want to leave in the comments after the video if you're watching this? This team is probably the worst national champion of that era. 32.4 points per game on offense, and they allowed 20.8 points per game on defense. That's not great. They won a national championship, though, and honestly, if Texas is going to win one, it's going to have to look similar to that. 2016 Clemson, 37 points per game. 20.8 points per game on defense. That team also wasn't that great overall, looking at the points and point margin differential. 2017 Alabama. This team, on the other hand, was elite as hell. 7.6 points per game. So phenomenal on the defensive side as well as the offensive side. 2018 Clemson, also an elite team, 12.8 points per game. LSU, 21 points per game. 2020 Bama, 20.75 points per game. And then this is where we get to just absolute sicko elite status. 7.1 points per game for 2021 Georgia through 8 games, 4 or 5 conference games. I'm only counting the conference games. 2022 Georgia, a step back at 11.8 points per game. Woo, that's so bad. And 2023 Michigan, damn good. Damn good on the defensive side of the ball. We all knew this. 6.2 points per game so far in their season through 8 games and 4 or 5 conference games. That's phenomenal. Texas actually is good enough, in my opinion, to win a national championship on this side of the ball. Texas on the year allows 17.5 points per game. That is in conference play. That is phenomenal. And remember, guys, they've given up 2 drives the whole game, or 2 drives the last 2 weeks that score touchdown. 2. That is it. They gave up a long drive to Georgia, and they gave up a long drive to Vandy. Everything else has been them playing catch-up because the offense is turning the ball over, giving the other team short field position, which is putting their backs up against the wall, and they've done great in that sense, honestly. The only thing I have negative to say about Texas on the defense side of the ball, you got to get more clutch stops. You had a chance versus Georgia, 3rd and 11 inside their own 10, to stop them, get the ball back to the offense, and possibly go and tie the game. You had the chance versus Vandy in a 10-point game to stop them, end the game winning by 10 points. Only knock I have on them. Need to get timely and clutch stops. That is it. Everything else has been good enough, guys. And that's my problem too. So look at us, 17.5 points per game. That's less than 2019 LSU, less than 2020 Bama. But again, those are elite offenses, and our offense is not picking up the slack here. 2016 Clemson, and honestly 2015 Clemson, or 2015 Alabama and 2016 Clemson, that is the blueprint of how this team's going to win. Alabama in 2015 won the national championship, 32.4 points per game on offense, 20.8 on defense. Clemson 2016, 37 points per game on offense, 20.8 on defense. The defense is slightly better than both of those teams, and this is a more passing-happy era, so it's probably actually a lot better. But the offense has to get around. I need the offense at 31 points per game. I need the offense at 31 points per game when I crunch these numbers again, hopefully heading into the playoffs. If we're there, this team can win a national championship if the defense stays the same. If the defense stays the same. So look out for that number. In the next 4 weeks, we need to average 31 points a game. It's unacceptable to get anything less than that with the talent we have, with the goals we have. And if we clean up the execution, I think we get there. If we clean up the execution in the Vandy game, I think we score 34 points. So we're right on that track. It's literally, that is what it comes down to. Lack of intensity on every snap to allow for great execution. That is what is preventing this team.